Well, let's talk to the man who feels that he should be the party's leader, regardless of what the courts have announced. Let's speak to Narius Moloto. Mr. Moloto, thanks very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much to having me here and to respond to some of the statement made and also to react to the outcome of the court.
All right, let's start with that court decision. I mean, this isn't the first time this matter has come before the courts, and each time the courts have said Mr. Nyontsho is the leader of the party and that they can participate in electoral processes.
No, that is not correct. That's not correct. Let me put these things into proper perspective. At the moment, which were the parties before the court? The parties before the court, it was Narius Moloto in his personal capacity, and it was also a group called the Pan-African Congress, not the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania. We have raised a lot of legal issues as preliminary issues in court. They were ignored. For instance, if you want to set aside a Congress of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, you must cite it. You cannot leave the party that you need to take an order or decision against it out of the proceedings and hope that you will make a court order that is binding. My issue is that that court judgment is not binding on the Pan-Africanist Congress simply because the Pan-Africanist Congress was not cited. It was not there as a party.
All right. Is that not a technical issue? Pan-Africanist Congress and Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania?
It's not a technical issue. It's just an issue. It is a name. Look, I've been dragged to court since 2013. Contrary to what these people are saying, they said we are in court, we are in court. I've not been fighting anybody in court. I've been to court to defend myself, and I've been forced to go to court all the time. I must put that issue and factual situation very clear. No, we have had 3 court applications where that issue came. The issue of the name, that new name of the Pan-African Congress is coming from, is a new party from Bloemfontein. It's not the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania. And also, who are the PAC? The PAC are those delegates, 1,400, that met there at the Congress and elected the leadership. They met there believing that they are the rightful members of the party, delegates from the branches of the PAC. That is the highest structures of the PAC. Now, you cannot bring Narius Moloto in his individual capacity, personal capacity, hoping to set aside the decision or the structure of the PAC, because they do not belong to Moloto. They belong to the PAC as an organization. The legal standing is the one of the PAC. It's not the one of Moloto. So any non-jointing decision has no effect on the PAC, which was not before the court. That's our issue. But other than that, we have raised a lot of legal issues that the court has to deal with. Court has not dealt with those things. So as a result, we are bound. I'm bound to obviously refer this matter in terms of the rules of the court to the next level.
Are you saying that the court heard your argument but doesn't quite understand the difference between the PAC and the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania?
There are 2 judgments from Western Cape, which made it clear. The judge, acting Judge Pangaga, defined them that these are the 2 different organizations with different headquarters and different websites. And where did the second website come from? The second website came from Bloemfontein and nowhere else. And the second office, you cannot have 2 headquarters of one organization. Now, but going back to pick up the issue, the judge suggested there was no appeal, but the members, the delegates in Limpopo Congress, they were shown the appeal. The leadership of the PAC were there when the appeal was noted. We have a copy of that appeal. So for that reason, there's something wrong with that specific issue. That's why we believe the court has erred, and as a result, we'll obviously deal with it within the processes of the court itself.
How is it that you ended up with two different congresses within a week of each other and everyone flying a PAC flag? What happened?
Look, as the president, I've declared the decree in June, on the 9th of June, following 3 months of total. You remember that after Mabuza, we have an agreement. And within that agreement, we have to go and integrate all those factions within. And a committee of 3 aside was created. For 3 months, they could not come to a conclusion. Now, by June, we are already in danger of not meeting the deadlines which are stipulated in the Constitution. And those groupings were not able to come to the agreement. Now, the organization was in danger of falling into a serious problem of convening a Congress which will not be in compliance with its own Constitution. And then the only option that was there in the confine of the Constitution of the PAC was the decree. I invoked that decree. I do not have regret, because that is the authority that I've had, and I could not go anywhere else before you start. Now, all members of the PAC, including myself, we are operating within the confines of the Constitution of the PAC. I hear the criticism, but that is the Constitution of the PAC. The members of the PAC, they live and die with that particular Constitution. Now, therefore, and the Constitution, once the decree is evoked, I'm answerable as the president to the National Congress, not to anybody, not to court, not to a group of people. I'm answerable to them. And that is basically what I've done. That date I set and put the members. Others said I was a dictator. That's not correct. I set the members, including Apapo and the administrators, to organize the membership, verify, go to that Congress so that the Congress can elect the leadership. And that's what the Congress have done.
All right.
And now that was the Congress of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, and nobody else. It was not Moloto. Now, if you take Moloto to court in his personal capacity, but yet you want to set aside the decision of an organization, that cannot be legally correct.
All right. So I guess for an outsider looking in, is it possible that you had card-carrying members of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania at the conference that was held by Mr. Moloto, where he was voted president?
That's true. Look, what happened, the Constitution of the PAC prescribed that within a certain period of time, the delegates must be verified, because each and every branch will have to have a delegate on the basis of the ratio of membership. All those are processes to build up to a legitimate, and they ought to be done before time, verified and confirmed. It's only by the time those things were becoming impossible that the decree was evoked. And now, when the court ignores that, and while it is a provision of the Constitution, because that is the reason that was given, and it was a 10-page. Now, these people, the judges, are also not even considering looking what was before them. They simply said it's dictator, and that's not correct. It was the members themselves that were then were authorized and given the authority to organize themselves, verify themselves in a proper way, leading to a successful Congress. And that Congress was successful, well attended, record attendance. It elected the leadership, and that is the leadership of the PAC. If you want to sue them or take them to court, you are free to do so, but not Moloto in his personal capacity. That is my issue.
All right. Are you certain that you have a mandate of genuine Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania membership across the country?
Definitely, definitely. Remember, who are the PAC? The PAC is an organization composed of its members in the branches of the PAC. Have always been working within the framework of that particular structure and of the mandate of the members of the PAC. Now, it is not Moloto per se as a person, but it's the structures of the PAC that constitute the PAC.
Is there any way that you can't resolve this? Because, you know, let's say I'm a voter, local government elections are coming up, and I want to vote for the PAC, but at this stage, I don't know what to do because yesterday on SABC, I spoke to the president of the PAC. Today on SABC, we hear from the president of the PAC. What are the voters supposed to do?
Look, the voters, well, that question you should really ask people who are keep on forcing me to go to court. I've never taken anyone to court. You can look in all the court papers and then see who was the applicant and who was the respondent. Now, having said that, therefore, going to court for me, it is not a question of choice. I never had a choice. That is not a preferred way. It costs a lot of money. We pay lawyers all the way. These monies can be used elsewhere. So that's not my way of doing things in the party. We work collectively. We take decisions. We're a voluntary organization, and we are governed by the consent of the PAC. We always worked within that particular framework. So now, but coming with this specific one, I think Yoram Magudla's attempt were made, and very genuine attempt, and unfortunately, they could not succeed. But in any event, yeah, we are looking forward to where we've been working to build a party. I think it is now it has a better shape compared to all other times.
All right.
Before.
October 27 is the date that's set for this year's local government elections. Unless that changes, that gives us a couple of months. When I arrive in the voting booth and I see the PAC emblem for a councillor, what am I supposed to do? Am I voting for you, or am I voting for the faction that's been designated by the courts?
Look, PAC is one. Where there's confusion, that confusion must be cleared. And it is our intention that it will have to be cleared as soon as possible. We cannot allow a situation where the PAC is not one, because in essence, PAC is one. But however, the issue of the courts going court up and down, it has created this impression that there are many PACs. That narrative is not correct because we do not have branches in one ward that are fighting, are divided into different leadership.
Yeah.
Branches are branches, the structures are the structures, and those are the structures of the PAC. Now, it's a question of whose membership. For instance, yesterday when you do an interview, some people said, no, this man is... I've never been a member of the Pan-African Congress of Azania. I've never paid a cent there. I've always been a member of the PAC. And the PAC headquarters is at the Romilly building. So that has never been in dispute. But when you live there and begin to have your own setup and do certain things and continue, and now these people have distinguished themselves in a sense that the name and other things, both in Cape Town and in Pretoria, is not the same. The other thing with regard to this judgment, it just ran on the face of all other judgments because there are about 4 judgments by a number of judges. So that is also a problem that the courts themselves need to deal with.
All right. Mr. Moloto, are you prepared to step down for the greater good of the party and just to say, you know what, I am right, I am correct in the positions that I've taken, but for the greater good of the party and the voters, I will step down?
Step down from what?
From your claim as leader of the party.
I'm not claiming anything. I've never claimed, I would hate to claim. I was elected by the members of the organization. And if the members of this organization, you seem to have reached a particular conclusion.
No, I
the
haven't.
Membership,
I just want clarity because the voters are confused.
All right, okay. No, the voters shouldn't be confused. For instance, we have the structures, the leadership of the party under my leadership and the National Executive Committee going there to vote, to register so that they can stand to be voted for and to vote.
Okay.
So I do not understand on what basis should I then be asked to step down.
All right.
Particular, if the member said, look, we are no longer interested, we don't want you to be our leader, then that's fine. But that's not the impression.
So
the impression I get is that the members of the PAC love me and they want me to lead them.
Okay. Is Mr. Nyontsho a member of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania?
There's a court order from the Western Cape High Court. His membership was terminated, and he has not challenged the termination of his membership by the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania.
Okay, so he has no right, in your view, to even represent your party at the elections?
No. And also the court order that he got, it does not give him authority to represent my party because he's not a member of my party.
So who are these people that are on the candidates list then at the IEC as of 9 o'clock last night?
Well, look, 9 o'clock last night, we were still... IEC was refusing to recognize, to our people to register and to stand. We were asking, they were being asked who do they support, who do they behave, which we believe is unlawful. They've made affidavits. I think in the next couple of days, we'll be dealing with that particular issue with the IEC.
All right. Mr. Moloto, I hope that you and your party, Mr. Nyontsho and others can come together and finally resolve this, because I think the people who followed the PAC since 1959 would love for it to be resolved once and for all, and that you all come together in unity.
The PAC will eventually trump because it's dynamic and the activities that takes it forward. Now, at the end of the day, we must achieve that.
Mr. Moloto, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Okay, so that's the leadership dispute within the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, or the PAC. If you're a voter and you have to make a decision, I'm not sure how you're going to be able to work that out, but it seems that Mr. Moloto is quite clear about how things should play. Yesterday, we had Mr. Nyontsho saying a very different story. And I suppose you have to make up your own mind.